Learning a new language changed more than just the way that I speak, but it changed the way that I see myself. Because yesterday I had my first ever online lesson with a French tutor, and I was just gagged at the way at how far that I've came on my language learning journey, and not in French, but just in languages in general. Because French isn't actually the first language that I'm learning. The first language that I actually learned was Spanish back in 2019 was when I started. And in this video, I'm just gonna talk about my little story with language learning and my experiences. And maybe this will inspire somebody to learn a new language, okay? Who knows? But anyways, let's just get into it. So from a young age, I was always inspired and admired people that spoke other languages because I had a lot of friends at my school, and at home they would speak Spanish with their families. And I remember going in class, and some people will be able to speak Spanish, and I would always want to, you know me, I'm nosy. I'm like, what you talking about? Like, what's going on? And I could never understand it. So I was like, you know what? I want to learn Spanish one day. So I did take Spanish did I take it in middle school? No. I took it in high school, but I don't know how y'all school work, but at my school, it didn't give. You know, you could go through Spanish 1 and 2 because I think you had to do 2 years of a language credit at my school, and you would still coming out knowing "Hola, cómo estás." That's it. That's the basic. Hello, how are you? That's as far as we're going. But I knew that I truly wanted to learn more, and it was just so interesting to me that people can literally say words and sentences and whole conversations, and I can just look at you confused because I will not understand a single thing. So after making it up in my mind, I was like, okay, you know what? We're actually gonna start doing this or whatever. So that's when I started researching online. I was like, okay, how can I learn Spanish? How can I start getting better? Because I want to just, get on and start talking and, understand. So then that's when I just got on Duolingo, and I started doing it. And look, no shade, this is not sponsored, okay? But people always talk about Duolingo, but I'm not gonna lie, she helps me. She helps me get through it. Like, y'all really be sleep on my girl, no shade. Anyways, but so when I tell y'all, I was obsessed. I would get on there and I would do it whenever I was in the car or on the school bus. Oh my God, the school bus. Whenever I was in class, we had free time, and or it was I don't know, just a lot of free time that I had, I would be on there and I would just be like, okay, apple, manzana, okay, house, casa. I would just be doing the little sentences and all the random words, talking about the bear is going to the grocery store. Anybody that uses Duolingo, you know that she be giving you the most random sentences. But you're going to remember because, maybe the bear does go to the grocery store. I don't know. But yeah, so after that, I was like, okay, I started getting my vocabulary up. I was like, this is tea. This is getting good. So after that, I was like, okay, I'm starting to understand a little bit more than usual. It's no more just, I'm not just understanding el niño, la niña. I'm understanding a little bit, but I want to start speaking better. So then that's when I was like, okay, well, I had a lot of friends that spoke Spanish as well as English. And I would ask them hey, don't come for me, but can I practice a little bit with you? And some of them were like, girl, no. And I was like, okay, right. But then some of them were like, yeah, you can practice. So definitely, it was definitely giving choppy at that time. It was giving, he is going store tomorrow. Yeah, my sentences were very sloppy. But after a while, it started connecting and making more sense. But what mattered at the time, I feel that, was that when they were speaking slowly to me, I started getting a little bit better of comprehension. So after that, I started saying, okay, let's go to the next level. I'm understanding a little bit better. I got the vocabulary because, I've been doing, on the app, and I'm speaking a little bit, but I want to get better. So that's when I was like, okay, what's the next step? And I started watching all the language YouTubers, and I was like, where can we go? How can I really get better? Because I just want to understand, it's not clicking like how it should click. So then that's when the language YouTubers were talking about immersion. And I was like, okay, what's that? What do we got to do? And they were basically saying, okay, so, all the content you consume in English, change that to the target language that you want to learn, and then you can start learning faster. So when you're scrolling on Instagram, or you're watching YouTube videos, or you're watching shows on streaming, change the language to Spanish, and then you'll start to learn, or watch content in the foreign language. So I was like, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. So then that's when I started doing that. And y'all, I had me a whole phase. But also what was good was this was around the time that Elite was out. And anybody that knows Elite, it's a show about these high school students, and it's just a whole lot of drama going on. We're the people that know Elite. If you know Elite, comment below. But anyways, that show was like really popping too. And then also Money Heist was really popping, and those shows are both from Spain. But then I was watching a lot of Mexican drama shows too, because I was like, okay, most of my friends that were practicing Spanish with me are Mexican American, so I feel like the accent and the type of Spanish I was learning was more towards that. But when I started watching more Spain content, I started to understand a little bit more of their accent too. So I think that was good for me to get like the best of both worlds, to really understand, okay, this is different. And it low-key helped. But yeah, so once I got to that point, I was like, okay, like we're doing it. So then after that, I just started speaking Spanish more, and I started understanding little by little, day by day, and I started to be able to have basic conversations and a little bit of intermediate conversations. So Spanish was the second language that I learned. So then let's go to the next language that I learned, which was Korean. Y'all like, oh my gosh, Branson, what? Yes. And when I say the languages that I've learned, it doesn't mean that I'm fluent, okay? These are at varying levels because, baby, look, English she's still mine. She's still the language that I just pop out, okay? Now, when I say the languages that I've learned, I mean at varying levels, okay? I feel like if I can have a conversation and I can understand and I can like have context, I can speak the language. You know what I'm saying? It's not giving doctoral, but it's giving we can speak and we can communicate, and that's all that matters. So basically, how did this start? Long story short, I got into K-pop. Yes, K-pop is tea. I don't care. No, yeah, but I got into my girls Blackpink, and then I was like, oh my god, they are so tea. And then I was like, wait, I don't. Okay, because the thing is, also another side note, I studied abroad in South Korea, by the way. I'm trying to debate if I started learning Korean for my South Korean study abroad trip, or did I start learning it because I got into K-pop? I don't remember, but I just remember starting Korean at the beginning of 2021, because that was when I was a senior in high school. No, yeah, the beginning of 2021, I was a senior in high school, and I remember starting in January because I was like, okay, we're doing this. So then I started learning Korean, on Duolingo again. Actually, they should sponsor this video. And after I started learning it, I was like, ooh, this is a lot harder than Spanish, because the thing is with Spanish, even if like the words are a lot different, there's still so many similarities or words that you can kind of guess or assume because the similarity with English. Versus Korean, it's a whole different script. It's a entirely different word, and it's like, oh no, you have to like really look at it. Like you're not reading A B C D E F G, you're reading Hangul. And that was a lot for me at that time. I was like, oh, okay, so we're really gonna have to lock in. So with Spanish, I never had any tutors or nothing. I mean, besides my friends, but that was like cute little 3-minute conversations. And then we would just be talking in English for the rest of the time. But with Korean, I was like, okay, no, I think this was when I decided that, no, actually, no, it wasn't. So basically, fast forward a few months after me starting to learn Korean, I graduate high school, I go to college, then I make up in my mind that I want to study abroad. And I was actually in between Korea and Spain, South Korea and Spain. But one day I was like, wait, okay, I I feel like I'm gonna have me a European summer like in the future. Like I know I'm gonna have like a Spain summer or whatever and go to Spain. But I was like, I really just think I should study abroad in South Korea. Like how tea would that be? So I chose South Korea. So then after that, I was like, okay, well I've been learning Korean for all this time now. For all this time, maybe it was like a year. And she was still very low. The level was not where it needs to be. I would be listening to my K-pop songs like, okay, wait, I'm understanding 사랑해. Okay, wait, hold on, wait. Yeah. Anyways, but then that's when I was like, okay, I need to get a tutor. So then I got me an online tutor for Korean, and then that's when I started to improve a little bit. and then I started getting better, and then that's when I went to Korea. And when I tell you, it gave me such a boost of confidence because when I went there, obviously it was not giving, we could talk in Korean for hours and hours, but I definitely could do my communication skills. And was it choppy, even choppier than Spanish? Yes. But did people understand me? Half the time. And that's all that matters. And I'll never forget the day that I literally went to the bank and had to do something because there was like this scholarship thing, and I had to like do a Korean bank account. And I'll never forget like the day me actually having to do Korean bank information in Korean. And I was talking to the bank teller in Korean, and I was just like, Branson, you ate that. Like, you really ate that. Like, that's crazy. So that was my experience after studying abroad. I came back to the States. Actually, fun fact, when I was in Korea, I had two classes that were actually fully in Spanish. Like, my professor was from Mexico City and everything. Random. That's because my Korean university was an international university, so they had a lot of language. Anyways, but yeah. So the reason I'm making this video was because once learning a language, it truly gave me so much confidence, because there'll be times where when I was speaking Spanish or Korean, and I would really think to myself, wow, like you really, especially with Spanish, because I didn't have a tutor or whatever. And I was like, you really just taught yourself like on your own an entire language. And that's like crazy to me, because now when people speak in Spanish and things, I can understand, and I'm just like, gag. So it's just, I don't know who needs to hear this, but maybe this is a sign that you can learn a language, even if you already speak another language, because, I would say a lot of people nowadays at least speak another language, maybe not, but just, it can open up your world if you have an interest, or just even like interest, or something that you really want to do, or you just had a thought about it. Maybe pick up Duolingo or a book or a YouTube video and just say, hey, you know what? Let me just try. And now we're doing French, because one day I was like, I just want to start learning French. And now we're here at the first stage. So, very much, bonjour, comment ça va? Je m'appelle Bronson. Okay, so anyways, I can't wait to look back on this in a year and be like, okay, yes. So we can say a lot more than that. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to talk about in this video, my experience with language learning and how it can really just change your perspective about yourself and give you confidence. And it's a fun thing, and it's brought me nothing but joy, because now I can watch Spanish shows without subtitles, and I can watch now Korean shows. See, me being back in the States after the last few years, level did drop. But I was watching a Korean YouTube video the other day, and I was like, okay, wait, I remember a lot more than I thought I did. So definitely I can still follow along with the YouTube videos, but shows where it's like big words and all that, go ahead and give me them Yongo subtitles. Yongo is English and Korean. Go ahead and give me those, because no. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys got something out of it, and I love y'all so much, and bye!